Welcome to the OTech Talks podcast, where it's all about working on technologies. You will hear the latest tech information, and your host, Kashif Manzoor, brings together product overviews, how-tos, best practices, tips and tricks, and troubleshooting techniques.
Hi, good morning. This is Kashif Manzoor from otechtalks.tv. Let's talk open on different technology topics. Today we are going to review the new features introduced in Oracle Cloud HCM Release 12. So this is our first topic on the new features on the HCM side. We will try to do a number of sessions to have a quick overview on the new features which are introduced in Release 12 of Cloud HCM products. These are my personal comments, and all the information which I am referring is available on the release content documents released from Oracle Cloud products. And the link is cloud.oracle.com/SaaS readiness. So before going into details of the new features, there are very key component on the new features, which are against each feature there are 4 options from a customer point of view or from a user point of view, that what are the actions required to enable features. So there are 4 options against each feature. That the number 1 option is it automatically available? Number 2, end user action required. Number 3, administrator action required. Number 4, Oracle service request required. So all the new features which are introduced in HCM Cloud Release 12 mark the checkbox against each feature that what action is required from user or admin, or if we need to raise a service request to Oracle Cloud Support. So the first feature from Global Human Resources is introduced: enhanced add person flows. Basically, what it is done, that a page is split into a train type of page where we can do compensation and employment and role information into 2 separate pages. The earlier employment information page is basically split into 2 train stops. One is employment information and another is compensation and other information. Basically, this is done to avoid scrolling down to the page. And from an action point of view, there's no need to do any action because this is available as a part of automatically available. Number 2 new feature is enhanced manage direct reports. Now we can add direct reports or reassign both line and other type of direct reports to different manager types, or even we can manage the direct reports page. We can select or deselect. All the options in a single click is available. That's part of enhanced manage direct reports. And even we can add number of, again on this, there are no steps needed to enable the feature. 3, changes from extensible to user for specific person lookup type. Now we can customize our own values for the 7 new lookup types to avoid these are converted from customization level to extensible level, like contact, marriage status, per highest education level, per national identifier type, per authenticity, per visa permit type. So all these lookups we can add our own lookup to meet the different business requirements. And again, we don't need to add any necessary step to enable this feature. Enhanced duplicate person validation. This is again another new feature. A new option, basically person creation service duplicate check, is added into the Manage Enterprise HCM information page. This option will enable us to help basically to help us to identify and stop or give us a warning on the duplication of new persons. So what we need to do is, this option basically specified our preferred level of duplicate person validation, and then based on the preference, this option will check the matches between person name, date of birth, gender, and national ID. And based on this validation, it generates error and prevents creation of a duplicate person if it conflicts with the existing records. This feature require to be enabled because to avoid any regression issues. So by default, this one is not available. So we need to enable and choose the option at the time of enabling. Person creation service duplicate check will give us different options: no duplicate validation, last name or first name initial, and date of birth and national ID. So there are 5 different options. We can check that one. Then another one new feature is salary update when changing working hours. So with this feature, it's enhanced the manager's ability to update the salary of part-time workers when changing their working hours. We can now update the salary by using the change working hours task in the manager self-service. So basically it increases the productivity of when we are updating the salary of the worker. Again, on this, no need to add any additional step to enable this one. Global human resources is areas of responsibility enhanced to include additional attributes and responsibilities. Now we can define scope based on job families and job functions. The area of responsibility page show us recruiting responsibility type and new scope attributes based on the recruiting type and hierarchies. The recruiting responsibility type and recruiting attributes are for use with the future enhancements. We can access the new scope attributes using the manage areas of responsibility task in the person management work area. And there are no steps to enable this feature are required. The last feature on the global human resource area is worker user accounts are not created automatically when we will do a bulk upload of new users. In case of release 11, what was happening when we were uploading through the HCM data loader, the new users, at that time, users' accounts were created automatically and the emails were sent to the user. The credentials emails were sent to the users. Now in release 12, the enterprise HCM options are ignored when we load workers in bulk. So it gives us control so that we can manage the generated user accounts flag and send credentials email flag attributes in the worker object as no or yes during the HCM data loader process. So that's a good, I think, feature so that we can manage that one. So if you want to send the email or if not. And again, we don't require any step to enable this feature. So these are the new features introduced in global human resources. These are 7 features. Out of 7 features, 6 are automatically available and 1 enhanced duplicate person validation need end user action required. Now we will talk about some of the new features introduced on country level. We can say these are the country specific. So the first country which we are going to review is the China, the human capital management for China, where non-taxable employee and employer contribution threshold amounts feature is introduced, and this feature required administrator action to enable this one. Basically, to comply with the regulation on taxable social security contribution calculations in Shenzhen and Shanghai, by capturing non-taxable employee and employer contribution threshold amounts and using them in monthly individual income tax calculations. So that's the new feature. Steps are very simple. We need to set up the employee and employer non-taxable contribution threshold amounts based on by social security item, territory, and contribution type as needed. The setup occur at the payroll statutory unit level or on the statutory deductions calculator card under the social security group. HCM features for France. There are 4 features. 1 new calculation card for hardship factor calculation, 2 statutory deduction calculations card enhancement, and then pension and welfare calculation card enhancement, and the last one is new external organization. So these are the 4 features. For the Germany, again, there are 4 features introduced: legislative changes for name validation, enhanced person name validations, validations for reporting first name and reporting last name, disability report. Similarly, for Kuwait, electronic funds transfer template update, payroll cycle flow update, report 56 enhancements, IP consolidated report updates, highest education level specialization. So these are the 5 new features introduced for Kuwait. And for Saudi Arabia, IP consolidated report updates, highest education level specialization. And for the United Arab Emirates, IP consolidated report updates. And for the United Kingdom, employment intermediaries reporting, UK statutory holiday calculations. So these are 2 new features for, and primarily for the Gulf countries, like the IP consolidated report updates. Basically, in that, new hires and terminations are now reported separately in the IP consolidated report for citizens of the GCC. The new hire details are not displayed when the employee is terminated, and we don't need to enable this feature. It's by default able. We just need to run the regulatory and tax reporting work area report. I won't cover the details on the country specific levels, which you can go into the SaaS readiness new features page and you can get more information on that.
Thanks for listening to the OTech Talks podcast, and be part of Tech Talks at otechtalks.tv. It's a turf to share ideas, insights, and innovations.